Coming up on this edition of The Center of It All, we hear from area veterans about their military service, get in the Christmas spirit with a trip to Lakemont Park, and another local musician stops by the studio. These stories and more coming up next on The Center of It All. Hey guys, welcome to the Center of It All. Local acoustic guitar player Chris Good recently stopped by our studio to talk about his music.
Are you looking for some good music? Well, look no further than Chris Good. An acoustic artist from State College, Chris got his start singing hymns in his church choir, but shortly realized he wanted to perform more than gospel music. With just an acoustic guitar and a loop pedal, Chris is his own one-man band.
My strong background is 90s acoustic rock, like Dave Matthews, Matchbox 20 kind of stuff. But I play everything from pop hits to classic rock to anything in between.
An alumni of State College High School, Chris was raised into a musical family.
I grew up around music all the time. My grandma is a musician. She's a music therapist, actually. So we grew up, around the piano with her, playing any kind of instrument we know. And then my dad's always been a huge music guy. I remember being young, rocking out to all his classic rock albums, singing along. So it's kind of always been there. It's very stress relieving. It's kind of a therapeutic for me. And I love entertaining people. I love making people happy. So it's a chance to do what I love and also, share it with others. So it's kind of a cool experience.
After years of playing in bands and performing on open mic nights, Chris is now a household name in State College and has scheduled gigs each weekend.
Playing every Friday at Home D, State College, every Thursday at Happy Valley Brewery. I'm in and out of Cafe 210, Saloon, Rotelli's, wineries, weddings. I'm all over the place.
Want to see more from Chris? Check him out at chrisgoodsounds.com and be sure to come out and see what's good.
Yes.
That loop pedal gives his music a totally different sound. When we come back, we take some time to thank a veteran and talk to the ladies in the Women's Welcome Club. Welcome back to the Center of It All. For veterans, their time in the military made them who they are. I met up with some area veterans to talk about their service.
The holiday season is a time to give thanks, and one thing to be very thankful for is our troops and veterans. J.C. Casher is a young veteran who served in the Air Force during the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
I was 17 years old, and I actually had gotten into a lot of trouble when I was a kid because I had very good grades. I enlisted and got accepted into the Air Force Academy. It was a great opportunity for me to teach myself some discipline, to get away from the environment that I was in, and to better my life.
Veteran Jim LYNCH was drafted into the Vietnam War in 1966, although he already had plans to enlist.
I actually thought I was going to stay in for a career. I wanted to go into the Special Forces, and I wanted to go to OCS and become an officer, and I grew up as an Army brat, so I really didn't know anything else.
To veterans, their experience in the military was invaluable.
It gave me a whole lot of confidence. I knew I could handle pretty much anything that came along. I mean, I was a young guy, and I had been a company commander with almost 200 men under my command. If I made mistakes, people could die. and that's pretty significant, you know. So I wasn't really frightened of much of anything that was going to come down my way. I was, 22 years old, and I had already experienced that.
Particularly in a volunteer army, they give so much of themselves, and they undertake such great risks that has to be admired. When you come back with a determination and an approach to life that I think is unique.
Troops returning home from Vietnam had very little support from the civilian sector. Jim says he was actually surprised the first time someone thanked him for his military service.
It's turned around completely. It's only probably 5-6 years ago that I had the first person ever say to me, thanks for your service and that kind of thing. And it surprised the heck out of me, really, and now it happens all the time. I was long over feeling resentful about it by then anyway. I mean, how long can you pout, But I'm very happy that those days seem to be behind us and the soldiers are getting the gratitude and the recognition they deserve.
No matter what war they fought in, veterans have an unspoken bond with each other.
The military is definitely a brotherhood, for lack of a better term. I do very much feel like I'm family with anybody that has served in the military, and any veterans that I have met, I do interact very well with them. We are able to talk about the same things, because training itself, I mean, the technology might have gotten more advanced, but the military training itself has not changed very much over the past 50 years or so. And it's something that we all have common ground on. We all had to go through the same types of training. We all had each other's lives in our hands, and we understand exactly how difficult it is.
Anybody who's been in a war has that connection with somebody else, even if they're much older, like World War II or Korean veterans, or younger, like in the Gulf Wars or Bosnia. There's that connection, there's that camaraderie, and you can immediately relate to that person and the experiences they've had.
Military holidays are a great way to honor the men and women who served our country, but any day of the week is the right time to thank a veteran.
For over 30 years, the Women's Welcome Club of State College has been building social, professional, and community connections among women. I caught up with them at their annual fundraising auction.
The Women's Welcome Club of State College is a social club welcome to all women in Centre County. Founded in 1978, the club's logo is a pineapple, which is a colonial symbol of hospitality and welcome.
You're completely taken into the fold, no matter who you are, how old you are, where you're from. It's wonderful.
The Welcome Club is always doing something around the area. They even offer interest groups like game night, book club, and fitness club.
It's just a fabulous array of all kinds of terrific activities for a woman to join if she elects to do so.
The club's annual live and silent auctions are a way to accumulate funds for their community outreach programs.
This helps cover our club's activities as well as our community outreach projects.
The Arts and Crafts Interest Group is currently working on the Festival of Trees.
Right now, the Arts and Crafts group goes to the Home Depot do-it-yourself workshops every month. And we also work on the Festival of the Trees, which is a fundraiser for the Centre County United Way. So we're working on a Christmas tree right now.
People in the community vote for the trees that they think are the best. And then those trees are donated to families who can use those Christmas trees in their homes. So it's just an all-over wonderful project.
If you're interested in joining the Women's Welcome Club, they have general meetings on the second Wednesday of each month. And annual dues are just $20. For more information, contact wwcmembership@gmail.com.
The Women's Welcome Club is also on Facebook. Be sure to check them out. When we come back, Mel is wrapping something up in bacon, so of course, you're going to want to stay tuned. Hey guys, we're back here on the center of it all. Are you invited to a holiday party but just don't know what to make? Mel has some quick and easy hors d'oeuvres the whole party will love.
'Tis the season for parties and celebrations. After all, once the halls have been decked, who doesn't want to invite a few friends over to share the festive atmosphere? Today, I'm going to show you how to make 2 stress-free, crowd-pleasing seafood hors d'oeuvres. Jumbo shells stuffed with succulent crab meat and shrimp wrapped in bacon. Let's get started. First, we're going to make our jumbo shells stuffed with crab meat cocktail. Making crab meat cocktail couldn't be easier. I've put a cup of diced celery and a cup of diced onion in a nice big bowl, and I'm going to add 6 ounces, or about a cup and a half, of grated white cheddar cheese. I'm going to toss these 3 around just till they're combined. Now I'm going to add my spices, which is going to be about a tablespoon of cayenne pepper sauce. You can put more in if you like. That's about a tablespoon and a half. Half a teaspoon of celery seed, just like you'd kind of put in tuna salad. And the juice of half of a lemon. I'm going to toss all of this together. Coat everything. You'll know when it's coated enough because your cheese is going to kind of take on the pink color of that cayenne pepper sauce. And now we're going to add about half of a cup of mayonnaise. And you don't want to add too much mayonnaise, folks, just enough to make it creamy, because we don't want our crab cocktail to taste like mayonnaise. We want it to taste like crab meat. And that's looking all beautiful. Now I'm going to add 1 pound of the best quality jumbo lump crab meat I can find. If you live near the ocean or you're making this in the summer, fresh is best, but don't hesitate to use some of our really, really good quality pasteurized crab meats. Now I'm just folding this. I'm going to get a little gentler here because I don't want to mash up those beautiful big pieces of crab meat. And I'm about done. I'm going to cover this with plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator to chill for 1 to 2 hours. While my crab meat cocktail is chilling, I've cooked 1 pound of jumbo pasta shells. You're going to have to cook an entire pound. It's going to be about a dozen more than you need, and the reason why you have to do this is because inside this box, some are broken and some are going to rip and tear while they cook. After they're all drained, you just pick about 24 of the prettiest ones you can find with no rips or no tears, and just invert them on a baking pan to drain and dry. And what I mean dry is not dry out. Be free of all liquid, moisture, or water. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to cover these with plastic wrap, and I'm going to set them aside while I cook my bacon. You've seen me oven roast bacon here on Kitchen Encounters more than once, and you know how I feel about these disposable aluminum broiler pans, the kind with the corrugated bottom that give all that grease a place to go to as the bacon crisps in the oven. The only difference of what I'm doing today is I'm going to pre-cook the bacon or half-cook the bacon. Why am I doing that? Well, when you're making shrimp wrapped in bacon or even scallops wrapped in bacon, the problem you have is the bacon takes longer to cook than the shrimp does. So what I'm doing is I'm evening the playing field. I'm giving the bacon a head start. I've laid it side by side on these pans, and I'm going to put it in a 375-degree oven for about 10 minutes until it's light and soft, but not fully cooked. In the oven, I've been stuffing my shells. About 2 tablespoons for each one. And in case I forgot to mention, you want to cook these shells al dente, just according to the package directions, because keep in mind, they're not going to go back into the oven to bake. So you really want to have these fully cooked. 24 shells. I'm gonna go get my bacon out of the oven. Here, now it's perfect. So let's just go up the middle, as Joe Paterno would say. My bacon cooked for 10 minutes. I took it out and it cooled for 10 minutes. And now it's at room temperature. So it's time to wrap my shrimp. And you'll be happy to know you can actually do this a day in advance and put these in the refrigerator overnight. So for each shrimp, what I want is a half slice of bacon at room temperature. My secret ingredient, which is going to make my shrimp really tangy and keep them moist and succulent, is about a half teaspoon of Dijon mustard on the top of each one. I'm just going to wrap each one, stick it with a little toothpick, and lightly place it back on the same pans that I cooked the bacon in. Now when you're placing these in the pan, I say lightly place because you don't want to poke a hole in these pans with the toothpick. I'm just going to put these back in the oven at 400 degrees for 12 minutes and they're going to be ready to serve. Without stress or mess, I'm serving 2 succulent seafood hors d'oeuvres. One hot, one cold. I've added some salted, roasted almonds for crunch, some briny olives, fennel-crusted salami with cheese and crackers. Let's start the party. For these and all of my recipes, just go to my website.
Wow, that looks so good. I hope Mel invites me to her house this year. When we come back, we stop by Lakemont Park to see how they're preparing for their holiday lights on the lake. Welcome back. Now it's that time of year again. Holiday lights on the lake are back, and we stop by Lakemont Park to see them put up the final touches.
It may seem strange to start decorating for Christmas on Labor Day weekend, but for the folks at Lakemont Park, it's a must.
We always start this project right after Labor Day, the Monday after Labor Day. We are open one weekend after that, but we start with the bulbing, and it takes the whole time until right before we open.
Holiday Lights on the Lake is a unique festival put on inside of Lakemont Amusement Park. Visitors drive through a wonderland of bright holiday lights and animation.
Truthfully, the lights that you go into the tunnel and they change the different colors, that's my favorite part. The kids, they love Rudolph playing ball and Santa, doing things. That's their favorite. But mine's the lights, the tunnel part. Gorgeous lights, just wonderful.
Many families come every year. We have had people from all 50 states, including Canada, come down to drive through this, so it is a pretty big thing.
Each year, Lakemont offers a game that you play while you drive. This year's game is hide and seek with Santa and his elves.
This year we just got a new one, and it's Santa's elves are hiding from Santa, so you need to find how many times you spot Santa's elves hiding from him, and you can enter to win a $1,000 check.
After about a 20-minute drive through the 51-acre display of lights, it's your chance to stop in the gift shop, check out the 800-foot model train display, and even meet Santa. Holiday Lights on the Lake is open now through January 4th from 6 to 10 p.m., and they're even open on Christmas. For more information, log on to LakemontParkFun.com.
Between the lights, the model train, and Santa, this is an event you won't find anywhere else. Now, seasonal affect disorder is a form of depression that affects many people this time of year. The doctors at the Cleveland Clinic will break down what seasonal depression is and give tips on how to make it easier.
It's prime time for seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. Now that the clocks are set back and we see fewer hours of sunlight, some people really start to feel down this time of year. Not to mention the holidays, while cheerful for most, can be a downer for some. In fact, about 500,000 people suffer from SAD, and 3/4 are women. Dr. Scott Bay is a psychologist at Cleveland Clinic.
It really is a form of major depression. So, believe it or not, we see a lot of depletion of serotonin in studies of people that have this pattern of seasonal depression.
Seasonal affective disorder usually starts in the fall, worsens in the winter, and ends in the spring. People suffering from SAD have symptoms similar to depression. They feel sad, anxious, or lose interest in activities.
We see things like sluggishness. People are tired, they're fatigued, they crave carbohydrates, they'll often indulge and gain weight during the winter months, they fail to socialize, and they get kind of irritable.
Bright light therapy or phototherapy, a special lamp that emits light at an intensity of 10,000 lux, is an effective treatment for SAD. Dr. Bay says about 70% of people will find it helps. Sometimes antidepressants are prescribed along with light therapy. In addition, spending time outdoors in sunlight, socializing, and staying active may help.
Starting actually to schedule out your days, activities, a day in advance, so you have a plan as to what you're going to do and commit yourself to it. It's actually a good treatment for depression any time of year, but it's particularly useful during that seasonal affective time.
If you think you have seasonal affective disorder, rather than self-treating, Dr. Bay recommends seeing a doctor to get the symptoms properly assessed and treated.
Well, that's all for this edition of the Center of It All. Log on to our YouTube page for more great WHVL content and like us on Facebook. Thanks for joining and have a great day.